Streaming on Twitch. Do 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 do. Streaming. It is working. Okay. Dementia Radio now and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org. It's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice.
Hey, Luke Ski, back just in time.
Yep, and we have Insane Ian.
It's me.
It's Ian. Welcome
I'm
to
here.
Episode 714 of the Funny Music Podcast. The title of this week's episode is A Separate Contest, and you guys know the deal. So, let's just get right into it, shall we?
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey.
What?
Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Let me look at my calendar and remind myself what reality has been recently. Yeah, just,
It continues
working.
to suck if that helps you remember anything.
Yeah. I went in the other morning to the Lens Crafters, and I finally ordered myself a proper pair of glasses, like the progressive type glasses. So, and I also ordered a pair of sunglasses because they were doing like a President's Day weekend sale dealy or something or other. So, so hopefully, it was like a week ago, so they said they would take less than 2 weeks for them to show up, so I should have them by MarsCon, so y'all can see the new glasses I'll be rocking when that comes.
Nice.
I saw Madam Web.
I want to see Madam Web.
How was that? Because I have that as a potential horrible movie review based on the Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
Everybody I have known who has seen it has said it's not as bad as everybody says.
Okay.
And everybody who says it is bad, who I don't know, says it's worse than Morbius. And Morbius wasn't that bad. There are comic book movies that are worse than Morbius. But I would like to know what Luke, who is known for liking things, thinks of this movie.
That first thing you said about it's not as bad as everybody's saying it is, that's basically where I land, but I can definitely see the badness. I'm seeing like this is going to be so great when Riff Tracks gets their hands on it. You know,
There you go.
If it gives the potential for other things to be good, it has served its purpose.
The way Kyle put it was because Kyle and Lindsay came with was something along the lines of, I just wish I could have had a weekend alone with that script because there's a good movie in here that could have happened if it had been, worked with a little bit more or whatever. So
Yeah.
Evidently, the movie that they all signed on for, the script that they all read that they signed on for, isn't what we ended up with. The movie went through so many changes during production, they don't remember what the original script was.
Yeah, that's never a good sign when there's that many
Dakota
changes.
Johnson has been talking about it. Like there were like elements of like it's like the Terminator in the original movie script, and now it ended up being this thing. And there's words that Sony tricked them into thinking they were going to be part of the MCU. That's how they got them to sign on. And Sony's Spider-Man-less Spider-Man franchise, or I don't know what we're going to call it, the SMMU or whatever it is. It's a problem. It's a problem.
the other thing that kind of bugs me is, I don't know, I just think back to years past when like movies used to come out and whether or not a movie was a big financial success or not was never as big of a deal. Like, a movie would come out and it'd be like, oh, it's a movie. We go see it. People like it. Ha, whatever.
Yeah, I remember that
like,
seemed to start with E.T. for me. Like, well, because E.T. was like the biggest movie ever when it came out. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, every time a big new tentpole movie comes out, like Jurassic Park was like all of a sudden this big, huge movie, and then Titanic, and, you know, and now it's like everyone's trying to outdo it to try to become the biggest movie ever.
It has. Go ahead, Luke.
Okay, well, sometimes it's okay. It's like Tom Hanks, you know, Forrest Gump, Philadelphia. Tom Hanks once made a movie called The Burbs.
The Burbs is amazing.
Yeah, The Burbs is, and it's a great movie. At the time it came out, it wasn't a huge hit, but nobody was saying that it was a piece of crap either. And it was just a movie that was out there, and you could see it. And it's like, yay, movie. And it's like, it bums me out that, you know, Madam Web could be just another yay movie, but there's so much pressure, especially in anything that's Marvel related. It's like, if you aren't the biggest thing in the world, then you're a dumb piece of crap, and you all should die. You know, it's like there's no, yeah.
No, absolutely. You don't see smaller comedies like The Burbs anymore. Mm-hmm. And you know, you're saying you remember it with like E.T. and stuff, but it goes back to Jaws. Jaws was the first blockbuster film that ever existed. It was the first blockbuster, and then as the years went by, you had like 1 or 2 blockbusters a year or something like that until we got the Marvel movies, until we got to superhero movies. And then they became billion-dollar makers. They became billion-dollar blockbusters.
Yeah.
They've made $1 billion. And once they started making a billion with a B, once they started making that fucking ton of money, everything else had to compete with that. And most studios are like, well, why would we make the thing that makes, you know, 500 million or even like 100 million in a weekend that has a budget of 5 million? Sure, it's making, you know, 20 times its budget back in that, but, you know, who cares about that kind of movie when we can spend 200 million on a movie and make $1 billion? You know, they're not doing the smaller movies anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why everything has to be this interconnected, huge, big budget, multi-universe kind of thing. And saying this as a person who is a fan of the multi-universe kind of things is weird for me, because I love those movies, but I also love the smaller, more intimate kind of things, and we don't see them anymore. I mean, there was an amazing comedy that came out last year that nobody fucking saw, and you should all see it. It's called Bottoms, and it was fucking hilarious. And you're looking at me like you don't know what it was, because nobody saw it.
I vaguely remember hearing about that, but I never got a chance to go see it.
It
was on my list of like, oh, I really want to see this movie, but I missed it at the theaters for whatever reason. Life was too busy at that time for me to get out and see it. And I know it's on streaming now, so I do need to.
It's absolutely on streaming now. You need to watch it. It is about 2 lesbians in high school who start a fight club under the pretense of teaching women self-defense, but only so they can meet chicks. It's fucking hilarious. It is so goddamn funny. Yeah. It's like they took Fight Club and Mean Girls and smashed them together, and nobody saw it, and it's great. And you don't get smaller comedies like that anymore because so many people are trying to make the next big thing. And while I like the next big thing, I like other things too, because I like movies. And, you know, because Madam Web is not making the next big thing money, they're crowning it as a failure. That's only because you spent $200 million on this thing, and it made under 25 in its opening weekend. So
that's not good. No,
it's not. And the thing is, the way Sony's going about these things is like, we really want to be connected to the MCU. We have Spider-Man. Spider-Man's connected to the MCU. We own all these Spider-Man adjacent characters. We want to make our own universe that we will hopefully be allowed to connect to the Disney Marvel thing. But in the meantime, here are all those characters that we have the rights to. Let's see if we can do anything to them. You're building it the wrong way. Yeah. You're trying to build from character out into a movie instead of just like, have a story there. Have good plot. And it's production by committee. And it ultimately is the failing of the movie. That never works. because you've got so many studio heads and so many people who are looking at numbers rather than scripting and anything, and you're coming in and changing everything in the edit and changing everything in filming and changing everything while in production, that nothing makes any goddamn sense
It's
anymore.
like they view it like numbers equals quality, and it doesn't, because it's a separate contest.
Yeah, and that's why they're so dead set on. That's why they're so dead set on having AI run things, because they're not thinking about the story; they're thinking about the numbers of shit.
Yeah. Speaking of smaller comedies, did you see Triangle of Sadness?
No, I heard of it, and that is not a small or comedy.
It is a comedy from what I've seen.
It
but
is.
It's a
Really?
it was a bigger budget, but
I heard it was a drama and very depressing.
oh, because I heard it was a biting satire of the rich, and the trailer made me laugh. So
satire doesn't always mean comedy.
I know, but the trailer made me laugh multiple times, and I really wanted to see it, and I never got around to it.
It was an Oscar nomination last year, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
I don't remember, but no, I had heard that movie was incredibly depressing, so I didn't see it. Although I had never heard of it until the Oscars,
it's on
so I was
Hulu.
just like, I don't know where this is playing.
I can
Two other
watch it.
smaller comedies that came out that I still haven't seen yet, but really want to, from last year. One's called Joyride, and the other one, which Tony has seen and has raved about, is called Dix the Musical.
Yeah, no, I saw the ad for Dix the Musical, and that looked really great. Joyride looked really good. It kind of reminded me a little bit of something else, and I can't think of what it was now. But no, Joyride. I'm thinking of a different movie. Joyride looked really unique and really fun, and I wanted to see that too, and I didn't see it. I saw an amazing comedy the other day called The Beekeeper. That movie's not a comedy, or not supposed to be a comedy, but I thought it was hilarious.
That good, huh?
Jason Statham. No, it's a good movie. It's
Okay.
very entertaining, but it's also really hilarious if you just stop and think about it. It's a Jason Statham action movie. It's great, but it also is completely fucking ridiculous, and I love movies like that. Statham does a couple of those. The Crank movies, those are ridiculous, and I thought they were hilarious. Shoot 'em Up. Shoot 'em Up is an amazing movie. It's not a Statham movie, but it's an amazing movie that is not a comedy, and it's 100% hilarious. But anyway.
So yeah, the other couple things I did this week were I sent in my passport to be renewed, and I also applied for TSA pre-check. So and that already has gone through apparently. So when I come out to MarsCon, I'll get to be like, yay! I get to go wee TSA pre-check. And then later on in the year, if things go the way we're hoping, I'm going to be heading out to England with my family to hang out with my brother and my brother Michael and his wife Anu and their son Bodhi in actual jolly old England for like 5 days. So
cool.
And hopefully Kalani will be coming with me too. So that'll be neat. She'll get to hang out with my family for the first time.
Nice.
And then the other thing I did is I won't reveal the name because I'm assuming Tony wants it to be a surprise, but I recorded a episode of Escape from Vault Disney that has one of the panelists is, as far as like somebody involved with, somebody who has who had a position or had multiple positions over time at the Disney company making stuff. Like, this is the highest ranking person Tony's ever had on his podcast. So I'm pretty psyched for it, and it's the first episode of Theme Month, so it'll be he said it would be up before MarsCon. I know he has a couple episodes to edit before that one, so but yeah, I'll just let that be a surprise for those who listen to his show. But yeah,
neat.
It was fun. Anyway,
Nice.
What have you been up to, Devo Spice?
Well, we had a swim meet this past weekend. It was what they call silvers. Yeah. Sorry, my wife just texted me something. I want to make sure she was okay. Because she's out picking up Darren. So it's a championship below states. So he was in 4 meets and he did pretty well. He came in 3rd overall in the 100 freestyle and 4th overall in the 200 IM. So Get a good weekend. We are going to States, which is MarsCon weekend, which is why I'm not going to MarsCon again. Anyway.
Damn you, talented children!
I know, right? I did an online workshop last night with a couple of directors, like movie directors, through my acting school. That was fun. One of the guys was one of the crew from Skinamarink. If you've ever seen that film, that was interesting. It was different from like all the other ones. Just the feedback we got was very, very different coming from a director versus like an agent or a casting director. But it was fun. I also am this close to being done with my short film Talk to the Hand, which is the Talk to Me parody that I did. I got the music from, I don't know if I mentioned this on this podcast or not, but I hired Jacob Martin to score the film for me. So I got the music from him the other day, and I dropped it in, and it's fucking amazing. And I had to, adjust levels and stuff, and then I had to do one more pass on the sound for the dialogue and all that stuff. And it's potentially done. I need to listen to it on the TV in my living room so I can see what it sounds like in a normal environment and not like here with studio speakers. And then I'll tweak whatever needs to be tweaked, and it'll be done. Then I'll start sending it off to, casting directors and film festivals. That's film festivals. Seeing if we can get it, picked up anywhere. And I found I can't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast or not either, but the FuMP payments are still, temporarily disabled. And I found a developer who, claims to work in PHP and claims he can implement the PayPal API and stuff. And we've been talking, and he's really been dragging his feet. And like a few days ago, he said that he needed like documentation on how the site worked. So I spent like 5 hours writing up this long document with all the documentation on how the site works, where the checkout button needs to go, and how it works to activate subscriptions and fires emails and all of that stuff. I don't even think he's read it yet. So today I had a little time, and I was like, let me see if I can do this. And we talked about implementing Stripe, which is another payment processor. Mm-hmm. So I took about 2 hours this afternoon, sat down with the Stripe documentation, watched a couple tutorial videos, and for the most part, I got it working. So tomorrow, I'm going to spend the day finishing that up, and hopefully the payments will be working again tomorrow, and I can kick this developer to the curb, and because he hasn't done anything. And I think that's going to be my MO going forward, is I'm going to try to delegate, I'm going to try to outsource whatever I can, and when it doesn't work, I'll just fucking do it myself again, because it's how my entire life goes.
So fight him just means fuck it, do it myself.
Yeah. That's the 21st century version of fight him.
Yeah, clearly.
So Ian, what have you been up to?
Well, like you, I had a couple of acting workshops the past couple of weeks. As far as I was taking some specific workshops about auditioning for TV and co-star and guest star roles. And I had a bunch of auditions the past couple of weeks since getting my agent, because we're getting into television season here in Chicago. Well, I say here in Chicago, I'm sitting in Maryland currently. But the past couple of weeks when I've been at home in Illinois, I've been doing a ton of auditions. And I have also been failing at FuMP. I have had big attempts to work at FuMP. February album writing month this year, and I had big plans to do it, and then I had to change my work schedule, so I was not able to do anything. I've written two things, and the only reason I wrote them is because I had to, because I had a FuMP coming up, and I had another thing that I had to write, and they're done, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish FuMP. Oh well, whoops. But one of them is on the FuMP now, right here. So but yeah,
Segway.
No, basically just audition. What's that?
Segway.
Exactly. But no, yeah, I'm in Maryland right now because I'm in town for my father's memorial. My father passed away in October, and right after FuMPFest, and so I'm in town for that. And then I'm back to Illinois. We have a new kitten, and we getting the little guy named Cheddar Bay Biscuit. Him and Waffles getting together and getting along so that Waffles has a friend, and so that Waffles doesn't murder the kitten. So yes, all of those things.
How's that going with the kitten?
It's going well, actually. It's going pretty well. We were worried a little bit because there was a little bit of hissing going on, but I think it was mostly just Waffles was like, okay, this is a lot with a kitten. I'm getting a little tired. Please leave me the fuck alone. But for the most part, they play wrestle and they have fun. I think we figured out why Abby hated Waffles. Apparently, female cats grow out of the age where they wrestle and play a lot. And boy cats don't. So Waffles was always trying to wrestle and play with Abby, and she was having exactly none of that shit. So that's why she had no patience for Waffles, and he's like, I just want to be your friend and play. Hooray, I love you. And she's like, get away from me, kid. Meanwhile, Cheddar is like, I want to play and be your friend. And Waffles is like, oh, good, play. Wait, no, this is a lot. Let me bite you. You're not responding to me biting you in the neck. You like this is a play? This is all right, we're playing. Everything's fine. Cats, I don't understand. But that's all that.
Awesome.
And I wanted to mention, Kyle has played me some interesting sound files that have something to do with you, and I really enjoyed them. So.
Oh, I wasn't sure if he was going to play those for you or not. That is the other thing that I wrote this month. I was not sure if you were going to be allowed to know what that was or not. But yay.
Yeah, Kyle. He tends to, it's like literally as soon as he finishes something, he tends to be like, "Here, look, I want you to listen to this right now."
Yay!
So you posted a song.
I did. Well, I mean, kind of. I made whatever the hell this is, and now it exists, so we're going to call it a song, sure.
Sure. It's good enough for the FuMP. It's a song.
Yay.
So, give us a quick intro. We'll give it a listen.
Okay, so I have been trying to write really short songs at about a minute or under. Some of them are going over, some of them are not quite a minute. This one is exactly 1 minute long, so I was like, hey, achievement. So I technically, this is based kind of on a true story. I'll explain that further after you hear it.
Here is Bidet by Insane Ian.
I don't know how to use the bidet my wife bought, and now I'm simply too scared to ask. I'd figure it out if I gave it some thought. It just sprays water right up your ass, yeah. But what if it's too cold or I can't get the angle right? If I may be so bold, what if maybe my booty's tight? Feel like I'm being trolled, no, I just do not get the hype. This kind of thing just ain't for me, but I gotta learn eventually. Today, I will use the bidet. I will find a way to use the bidet. I'll go get Taco Bell with all the fire sauce, then work out at the gym and do 30 squats. Eat a whole lot of cheese cause my intolerance will force me to use this chamber pot from front, yeah.
Very nice.
Ta-da! Short song.
Yeah,
Hooray.
I think it's as long as it needs to be.
Exactly. There's no need for that to go on any further. So we got a bidet back during the pandemic. I've never used it, and I fear it. So
well, that was
basically,
just something you did during the pandemic. It's weird how during lockdown there was like just this culture that like all of a sudden everyone's making sourdough bread and everyone gets a bidet. And
yeah, everybody got a bidet because everybody sold out of toilet paper.
Yeah.
So people got bidets, and we got one. I think we got one technically in 2021, but like we got it, and it's installed. And I look at it and I go, I don't know what any of those knobs do. And we've had it for so long, I'm too scared to ask now. It's too late. So I instead put it in a song, because that's the way my brain works as a comedy musician. That's hey, that's a life thing. That's funny. Song.
Well, that's a good solution to it.
I think so. But yeah, what's really funny is I've just been kind of singing that opening to it to myself for a while, and then the Carter Wallenius and his film crew for the FuMP documentary came over to my house to film part of the FuMP documentary, and this was going through my head. So this was kind of what I started working on in their documentary. So they have a very early version of me working on the song that they filmed. So
that's going to be great. That's got to be good footage, I'm sure. Were you sitting on the toilet with your laptop working on?
No,
because that would have been
God,
great.
No. They did offer to do that though, and I said no.
But yeah, we got bidets installed in all of our toilets during lockdown. It was just what you did.
Yep. So I wrote this, and I always kind of had it in my head how it was going to sound, and I had this I almost tried to sing it falsetto the whole way through, and then I thought I'll just have the falsetto be the doubling behind it, not a harmony line, but just kind of just a falsetto doubling behind it, just because I thought that sounded funny in my head. And so just singing it kind of a little higher, but not out of my register. At least I hope not out of my register. If it is out of my register and I'm singing awfully, I apologize to everyone who's listened to it. But I recorded that, and then I was working on the music because I'm using loops to make the music. And I'm like, I don't know how to end this song. I don't know what the gag is, because I've always had, in my head, I was always going to, so I figured today I'm going to use the bidet. I will find a way to use the bidet, but I didn't know where to go from there. And I knew that was kind of going to be the hook or the chorus or whatever. And then I was like, well, how am I going to figure to use the bidet? Oh, I know. I'll just do all the things that's going to make me need to use the bidet. And that's how I've ended the song. And I'm like, all right, that's a good enough hook for 2 seconds of laughter. Sure, that'll be the thing. So I think I accomplished my mission of being succinct in writing a short song. So
yes, absolutely.
Yay! And also because it's a short song, there's not a lot of things you can ask me about.
There's really not. I mean, I don't.
I realize that.
My main question is: has Sarah heard it?
Oh yes.
Okay.
No, I played it for her the other day after it hit the FuMP, and she looked at me and went, "That's certainly a song."
Yep.
And Kyle helped me out. Kyle mixed and mastered that for me, so thank you, Kyle. And I used my loop program to make the music for that one. So yeah, that one's 100% Ian, for better or worse.
That's usually my wife's reaction to anything I make. Is that's certainly a whatever I made.
Yes, exactly.
Like her review of my first short, the Room 259, was that's not nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be. So
always a blessing to hear a compliment like that.
Yeah.
I've heard that most of my life.
I can't wait to see what she thinks of Talk to the Hand.
I'm looking forward to seeing it myself, honestly.
I'm really happy with it. I'm very happy with this film.
I have to say I missed the sneak preview you did at FuMPFest. So,
the quick scene with that I played because Luke is in it, sort of. And
I mean,
I have to say, Jacob Martin's music for that part really adds to it. It works. It really brings out the joke. It's so good.
Excellent.
What were you gonna say, Luke?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know if you'd be interested in doing this since you're not going to be there, but we could try to screen Talk to the Hand at MarsCon in some capacity.
Yeah, if you want. I could. I'll because I'm gonna have it posted privately to Vimeo when it's done, so I can send you the link. You can do what you want with it. Play it in a room party or something for people who want to see it. So, Ian, you have anything you'd like to plug?
Well, I have my my YouTube channel, youtube.com/InsaneIan, where every week I react to new or new to me comedy music. On my show, Comedy Musician Reacts. I am over 100 episodes of that now. And I do that every week, youtube.com/InsaneIan. And if you're a part of my Patreon, not only did you get to get my song early, you lucky, lucky people, but also I do exclusive reactions over there, and I am recently starting a new series exclusively on Patreon where I am not reacting, but kind of like analyzing and discussing Weird Al's music videos and the comedy used in those and why it works so well, and sometimes pointing out jokes that a lot of people have missed in some of Al's early work.
I got a story about that.
Month. Oh, really?
Yeah.
For this month, I did Eat It because it's kind of his biggest video and kind of what brought him to the forefront of everybody else's perception outside of the Dr. Demento show. And I talk about, I've seen a lot of reactors react to Eat It, and they miss a lot of jokes that I think are hilarious in that video. And some of them are kind of based on the fact that it's a shot-for-shot remake of the original video.
Yeah.
And if you know the original video, then you know why this is funny. But it's still, there's a lot of things that are like through lines through the story of the video that a lot of people seem to miss. So I point all those out in my exclusive Patreon reaction. And, I'm going to be doing that as a monthly series for a while if people are still digging it. So the reception to it so far seems to be people do like what I'm doing with that. So that's fun. So that's patreon.com/InsaneIan if you're interested in that. And also, of course, all my music, insaneian.bandcamp.com. Yeah, all the stuff there. Bandcamp Friday's coming up next week. And all sorts of good things like that. And beyond that, I'm plugging MarsCon. Get the MarsCon fundraiser CDs, please. And help the artists pay for their rooms. And good things, and get songs and music and stuff and fun, and hooray.
Damn straight. So yeah, what happened was somebody posted on the Weird Al subreddit that, hey, I've been listening to I Want a New Duck all my life, and it never occurred to me that the line "Show me how to get down" was about feathers. And I went,
yes.
My reaction was, what? Because I always took that line to mean show me. It was wordplay on "show me how to get down" meaning dance, and "show me how to get down" meaning duck. And
meaning
feathers,
duck, meaning meaning duck out of the way, or
yes.
duck as in the full water
as in
fowl.
Duck out of the way, get down, duck out of the way.
Oh,
that's how I always took that joke, and like the feathers never entered my brain, and a whole bunch of people were responding, yeah, it's a feathers joke, and I was like, I gotta ask Al. So I emailed Al, and he responded like 10 minutes later because he does that. But he was like, yeah, I love it when people are just now getting jokes from 40-year-old songs. But he's like, yeah, apparently the line was inspired by the old joke, how do you get down off an elephant? You don't, you get down off a duck. And so that's where that joke came from. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, I learn something new every day.
When I was a kid, my parents had down feather pillows. And I'm like, what's down feathers? I don't understand that. And they're like, that's what you call feathers from a duck. It's down feathers. So if you had a down pillow or a down blanket, it's made from duck feathers. So I knew that as a kid. So hearing that as a kid, I got that joke. But admittedly, I knew that, and my friends didn't. So I knew that sometimes it's, just what you know and what you don't know. There's a lot of jokes like that in Al songs. So,
yep.
Like the line, I haven't been in a crowd like this since I went to see The Who. My parents explained that joke to me because I did not understand that there was a Who concert that a riot broke out at and people were crushed to death in a stampede. That is a dark fucking line in a Weird Al song, in an early Weird Al song, that most people will assume, oh, it just means Who concerts were very crowded. No. people died in one, and that's what he's referencing.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that we discuss in the Patreon thing that I'm doing.
Yep. Okay. Let's do the news. Here's a promo.
It's like you forgot your format of your show.
I forgot where we were. Just.
This song is about where we are right now.
The world's longest running comedy music concert series is back.
Having a good MarsCon? Fantastic.
MarsCon 2024 is taking place March 8th through 10th at the Hilton Minneapolis St. Paul Mall of America Hotel in Bloomington, Minnesota.
Oh, I just did the thing where I ad-libbed so long that it got awkward.
Have fun and get wasted and tell me more.
This year's event will have performances by The Great Luke Ski, TV's Kyle and Lynn Zilla, Insane Ian, Power Salad, Meow Meme, Nuclear Bubble Wrap, Holy Bong Water, Scooter Picnic, Jake Dewar, and this year's comedy music guest of honor, Cartoon Network legend Andy Merrill, the comedian behind the demented sensation that is Brack.
I like hubcaps, I like laundry, I like waffles, I like ant farms, I like recess, picnic, and eating pork and beans.
Registration for a weekend badge is $70. To pre-register and for more info on MarsCon, visit marscon.org.
That's not creepy at all. I'm gonna write my mom tonight. What did you do today, Bonnie? I drank water. Everyone screamed moisture at me. It was great. It's a bit.
But whether you're attending or not, you can still help out by ordering the MarsCon 2024 comedy music track fundraiser album. Available as an MP3 download for $30. It's just under 4 hours of highlights from all the live concerts of
MarsCon 2023.
So, Bryn, yes. Next year when you're editing the fundraiser album, the most important thing you remember is to include this clip of me right here telling you to put this in the fundraiser album.
This year's album includes comedy music by MarsCon 2023's music guest of honor, Bonnie Gordon.
Acknowledged. Sing with me just for today. Maybe tomorrow, careless will take you away.
If you'd like to hear a free 30-minute preview of the collection, there's a link to download that at our website.
I don't know what I'm recommending you do. I have no good advice for you, but they gave me a microphone, so it makes my opinion sound important.
You can order and download the album right now from the shop page at marsconcomedy.com.
That sounds like a brilliant idea.
I forgot my emotional support spatula at home.
Thanks for listening, funny music fans, and we hope to see you all at MarsCon 2024.
Thank you, MarsCon.
Thank you, MarsCon.
Let's say yeah one more time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Peace. Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, the Arrogant Worms have a new album out, Fan-Funded Songs of 2023. This is 12 songs from their 2023 Patreon, including songs like The Pancake Song, Spork, Ever Since I Became a Zombie, and more. The album is available now from their Bandcamp page at Name Your Price. Their Bandcamp page is arrogantworms1.bandcamp.com. And the only other news I got is the FuMP checkouts are still disabled, but hopefully they'll be back up tomorrow or shortly thereafter. The Dementia Fun Bus is still a thing. Contact Ken Sherlock if you're interested in joining that. And the rest is MarsCon. Luke?
Yeah, there's something I wanted to point out. This is like... okay, if you have Max, the Warner Brothers type app thingy that used to be called HBO Max, there's a cartoon on there called Jellystone, which is basically kind of a redo of a bunch of old Hanna-Barbera characters like Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Hound, and they all live in a town together. So it's like a kind of retro kind of show with a unique cutesy drawing style. Anyway, the point is, they're on their third season. They have an episode up there right now that just got put up there. I believe it's season 3, episode 15. The title of the episode is SpaceCon, and it is the plot of the episode is there's a science fiction convention that happens in Jellystone, and all of the residents of Jellystone go to it. And their big guest of honor is that Space Ghost is going to be there. And they actually got George Lowe to come back and voice Space Ghost again for this. And Peter Potamus, loves Space Ghost and, wants to dress up like him and at the convention and everything. Meanwhile, Brack, Zorak, and Moltar have snuck into the convention in disguise, and they basically intend to jump on stage and like, ruin Space Ghost's panel by just basically, being villains and embarrassing them. So C. Martin Croker, passed away, who voiced both Zorak and Moltar, so they've found other voice actors to reprise those roles. But Andy Merrill, our MarsCon Comedy Music Guest of Honor, reprises his role as Brack. The character designs are a little bit different because the show's, like I said, a little bit different, like weird, cutesy, cartoony kind of thing. But it's, Andy back as Brack and George Lowe back as Space Ghost, and it's just nice to hear, just to have those characters back again. So yeah, it was a really funny episode. It's only like 11 minutes long, like a typical, like a Magiswords episode or whatever. So just want to let people know, because that's like, newest hot off the presses Andy Merrill thing. If you want to go check that out, I'm sure we'll be talking about it during our Q&A at MarsCon.
I thought you were going to say they were going to have like a guy get up on stage doing song parodies at the con.
Oh, no, they didn't have anything like that happen in it. But yeah. I was going to say, oh yeah, and then of course, update on the fundraiser. If you missed last week's episode, we did hit our initial goal of $849.17. We are shooting to hit our first stretch goal, which is $606.55. So right now, the amount we have raised towards that goal is $96.40 as of today, February 22nd, which is 15% of the way towards hitting the first stretch goal, with 15 days left until MarsCon. So by that math, we need to sell, like if we're just talking about selling the main album for this year, we need to sell 18 more copies of it over the next 15 days to hit that stretch goal. So I would very much like to hit that goal. I have no idea what else I could possibly do to hammer it into people's heads to get the stinking thing. The previewed thing I made has what I'd like to consider some pretty funny drawings of Ian. So you can go look at that and enjoy my Ian drawings.
Here's a real fun thing. Both quotes that you use from me in that, I do not know what I'm referencing or why I'm saying things the way that I am, or even what I'm saying. I hear them. I know that I say them. I recognize my voice. I don't remember the context. So if you'd like to join me in knowing the context, get the MarsCon CD.
Yes, exactly. So I know what the context of those two things are, but if I told you now, you wouldn't have any incentive to buy the album. So
yes.
So you can purchase context for $30 and help cover hotel rooms.
What is the price of context to a man?
$30.
$30, same as in town. Anyway, so yeah, please go to MarsConComedy.com and click on the shop page if you want to get the downloadable album of nearly 4 hours of stuff from last year's MarsCon for $30. Also, if you want to get previous year's collections, those are also available going all the way back to 2007 and 2008. So those are each $30 as well. You can purchase those via the PayPal thing and let me know what year you want, and I'll send you the link to it. Or if you want to really help us out and really splurge, you can pay $200 and I will send you the links to get all of them, the entire kit and caboodle of like 66 hours of music from the past, how many ever years it's been since 2007. So yeah, so that is at the page called Past Fundraisers, but the main page for getting this year's collection is called Shop over at MarsConComedy.com. There you have it. And now back to Devo Spice.
All right. Anything else before tour dates?
Yes. Space Oddity is doing their fundraiser too, for the things. I don't know if that's ended or not, but there's a Space Oddity fundraiser for the glasses to help fund Space Oddity at MarsCon, and probably should mention that as well.
Yes, I know that they hit their goal the other day, which is cool.
Oh,
but
good.
You can still donate anyway and help them out and get a cool glass. So, I believe
I know she needed to finish it up soon.
It's on GoFundMe.
Yeah,
If you just Google Space Oddity fundraiser, it's the first result. That's how I found it.
Yeah, I know. She had like a deadline in order to get the orders for the glasses in by, and I don't know if we've hit that yet. I thought she was close to her goal too. So, but yeah,
I'll look it up while Devo's doing tour dates.
She has reached her goal. She's at $877 out of her $850 goal, so she's just squeaked over it.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go then.
All right. Luke, Brett Class wants to know if there's going to be dumb parody ideas this year at MarsCon.
Let me check the schedule. Let's see. I'll go to the MarsConComedy.com, click on schedule, and yeah, look, there it is. 2:30 on Sunday.
Huh. Who's going to be the judge this year, Luke?
Unless I can pull something out of my butt, probably me being the judge and you being the host, if that's okay with you.
Real good to hear about it now. But yeah, no, that's good. As long as the chancellor or whatever you called yourself of the dumb parody idea,
the commissioner
is going to be the judge this time, so that the previous judge is not usurped and undermined against his will, and suddenly sprung on him to have that happen in the middle of a different convention, to have his whole judgment overthrown. As long as that doesn't happen, we're good. It's fine. It's a good thing.
I've watched enough WWE events to know how these things work. You set up one thing, and then at the next event, that's where like a payoff happens, and then it's like a whole plot. That way we get people continuing to come back to MarsCon and FuMPFest because they need to see what's going to happen next, man.
Yes. That's why people come. Because the continuing storyline.
Because Art Paul Schlosser might come out of the back with a steel chair. You never know. Anything could happen.
Honestly, knowing Art Paul, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's a thing. Yeah. All the other info about the MarsCon Comedy Music Track is up at the MarsCon Comedy Music Track website, which is MarsConComedy.com, strangely enough. So go to the schedule page where you can find out things like the fact that Friday, March 8th at 11:15 p.m., there's a Scooter Picnic concert.
Yeah.
And that's
there's going to be Scooter Picnic songs that we totally will rehearse.
Yes, and somebody's opening for Scooter Picnic, and who is that? It's Insane Ian.
Yes, who's totally going to do songs that he's already planned to do.
Ian is opening for himself.
Not the first time that's happened, but I was in college and I needed the money. Hagen jokes.
I've seen bands do that. It's fun. I saw the X-Cops open for Guar. I saw Ludacris open for Scatterbrain. It's great.
I didn't see it, but I heard about the Folksmen opening for Spinal Tap.
Nice.
And it was before A Mighty Wind came out. So the Folksmen come out and they're opening for a Spinal Tap show, and they get booed off stage.
Yeah, the X-Cops have gotten booed off stage a few times too.
They didn't recognize the Folksmen as Spinal Tap, so they go out, they start playing folk songs at a metal show, because people are there to see Spinal Tap. They get booed off stage, they go off, change costume, and come back out at Spinal Tap, and no one knew yet.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like they had heavy makeup on for the Folksmen. It should
I know.
have been fairly obvious.
But it's an arena show, so the people in the cheap seats couldn't tell.
Oh, okay.
Very tiny people down there
not
in
like
the distance.
It's not like they were playing MarsCon.
Yeah, Luke, they're your guest of honor for next year's Spinal Tap. Get to work on that.
Yeah.
Only if I can get the Folksmen too.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll have the Folksmen perform in the Space Oddity room, and then we'll have Spinal Tap on the main stage.
Okay.
We'll have the Folksmen perform Spinal Tap songs, because there's technically still a legal thing going on with Spinal Tap. So
makes sense. All right, tour dates. Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. Sundays online, Two Sleeps. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at Virtual Comedy Show. And Mondays and Wednesdays online, Bill Larkin. On the 24th in Walnut Creek, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. On the 27th in online Zoom, Carla Ulbrich. On the 28th in Clifton Park, New York, Drew Jacobs. On the 1st in... My eyes just decided to go all blurry, and I can't see anything. On the 1st in Sauderton, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich. On the 2nd in Rossmore Community, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich. On the 3rd online, Escape from the Secret Lab, featuring the Consortium of Genius. On the 5th in New York, Carla Ulbrich. On the 6th in Voorheesville, New York, Drew Jacobs. On the 6th in Sunnyvale, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. On the 8th online, Carla Ulbrich. The 8th through the 10th in Bloomington, Minnesota, we have Jake Duar, The Great Luke Ski, TV's Kyle and Linzilla, Insane Ian, Power Salad, Nuclear Bubble Wrap, Holy Bong Water, Scooter Picnic, and Meow Meme. That would be MarsCon, which we were just talking about. And in Howell, New Jersey, on the 9th, Carla Ulbrich.
Woo!
All right. Birthdays. Today is Carrie Dahlby's birthday. Happy birthday, Carrie.
Yay, Carrie.
Happy birthday, Carrie. Yay.
And coming up on Monday, the 26th, it's my birthday. Yeah, nobody cares.
Devo Spice. Yeah. Devo Spice.
All right. Second song of the week. Another track from the Tom Lehrer tribute album, The FuMP Desecrates Tom Lehrer. Shoebox was, I don't know if I mentioned this while we were on the air, but Shoebox wasn't able to join us because he's busy getting ready for his big trip to Japan. But here is National Brotherhood Week by Worm Quartet.
Historian's note. In 1965, Tom Lehrer released National Brotherhood Week, a musical critique of a yearly event of the same name introduced in the U.S. in the 1930s to promote tolerance and harmony. Lehrer's song questions the effectiveness of such an event as a tool for meaningful change. This song is very much a product of its time and may seem quaint and curious to modern listeners in this enlightened era where we have completely eliminated racism, religious bigotry, and wealth inequality. But it remains a veritable masterclass in the art of satire, and as such, Worm Quartet would like to apologize in advance for ruining it.
Oh, the white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks. To hate all but the right folks is an old established rule, but during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, Ta-Nehisi Coates and David Duke are dancing cheek to cheek. It's fun to eulogize the people you despise, as long as you don't let them in your school. Oh, the poor folks hate the rich folks, and the rich folks hate the poor folks. All of my folks hate all of your folks. It's American as apple pie, but during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, Amazon workers get 5-minute breaks to take a leak. So step up and shake the hand of someone you can stand. You can tolerate him if you try. Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, National, everyone smiling, one another hood week. So be nice to people who are inferior to you. It's only for a week, so have no fear. Grateful that it doesn't last all year.
Yet another amazing song from this album. I'm so proud of this damn record. And I love the updates. Wildcard in the chat says he loves Shoebox's updates on the choruses with the newer references. And the funny thing is, I just saw a David Duke reference on Reddit today. It's like, I was like, he's still alive? Wow, all right.
Sadly, yes.
Speaking of comedy films, have you seen the movie Black Klansman?
I
haven't seen it yet.
It was.
It's a Spike Lee movie from a couple years ago.
Yeah, from a few years back with Adam Driver's in it, and I forgot the name of the other actor, but yeah, it's based on a true story of like a black. I forgot if they were police or if they were FBI.
They're police.
They're police. Yeah, so it's a black policeman and a Jewish policeman, basically pranking. Well, they're investigating, but they basically the black guy starts calling up like heads of the Klan and stuff like that. And I thought one of them was David Duke in the story, but
yeah, I think so. I think it's David Duke, and I think it's played by Topher Grace.
Oh.
But yeah, just basically how they were, infiltrating the Klan to find out what the hell they were up to, and it was like basically a black guy on the phone doing like a pretend white guy voice.
and since he had to go there, he enlists Adam Driver to be the white duplicate of him.
Nice.
So yeah, it's really great. I mean, it's obviously based on horrific shit from real life, but it's Spike Lee saying, "Okay, look at how these people clowned the Klan in such an amazing way." So it's really awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Let's do some other stuff.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback.
Feedback.
And there's no feedback this week, so...
Ow!
Hello, Devo. Hello, Luke. Pheromone here. I'm afraid there's no feedback this week. No feedback at all. I know how frustrating this is, with you going through the effort of crafting an intro for everyone. So now is the time to remind them to subscribe. Use that Prime subscription if they have one. It's free. There you go. That's a good boy. Have a biscuit.
Damn it!
So there we go.
I forgot that happened. I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
That's fine.
Whatever
That's
the fuck
fine.
that was.
So now do we not only have an intro for everybody, but we also have an intro for when nobody says anything.
Yes. And all the intros that stopped working last week have magically started working this week. I didn't touch anything. I didn't change anything. They just started working again. So all right. Do some teasing.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's song is by Joe J. Thomas.
Hooray!
And Tuesday's song is by the Thumbnuts, who you may remember did the song Allergies a little while ago.
Yeah.
All right. We need a Spotify playlist topic for this week. Any suggestions?
I'm going to be selfish and say short songs.
Short songs. I can do that because I know some. Now the question is, the playlist is usually like roughly 10 songs and roughly 30 minutes. So do I keep it 10 songs and 10 minutes, or do I put 30 songs and 30 minutes?
That's entirely up to you, but I would say keep it at the 30-minute playlist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I learned about Spotify. You had that whole thing about Spotify removing things because they're comedy.
Yeah.
I found out through a chat in Spotify that I've been meaning to send to you guys because I had it. I had the whole transcript. Apparently, they go by the spoken word rule, but also it has to be at a certain time limit too. So if it's like, there's a whole thing going on with it. It's very strange. So my song, Get a Clue, that I put on Spotify, because it is under 30 seconds, I don't get paid for that song at all. But like, if it's listed as comedy, it has to be like 3 minutes, and in those 3 minutes, it has to be actual like music. If it's 3 minutes and spoken word, it's listed as spoken word, and then there's a whole thing with it. I'm not describing it very well. I'll send you the transcript so you guys know what the hell I'm talking about.
I've been meaning to get in touch with them to do a chat myself to see if there's any way around this.
Yeah, no, so far as I can tell, there isn't. I asked to speak to somebody who, I was like, who do I have to talk to get comedy music to be treated like other music and not just stand-up comedy? Yeah. And they were like, no, that's just how it is. And I'm like, I refuse to accept that.
Yeah.
But I was also working at the time and couldn't really get into it too much with them. So, yes, things.
We should sell t-shirts that say...
Go with 30 minutes. Do it.
We should sell t-shirts that say comedy music is music too, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, no, we absolutely should. Didn't the old FuMP slogan that Shoebox came up with that used to be that? It's like
real music but funny.
Yeah, exactly.
We could do that too, like put real music in quotes. It's like real music but funny.
Yeah. Well, we have Mega Ran has T-shirts that say video game music is real music. We should have shirts that say comedy music is real music.
We absolutely should. Yes.
And we should do it in the same font as him, so we're parodying that shirt, and it's a double win.
There you go. Does he have any characters on the shirt?
No, it's just text.
Because I'm thinking we should hire Chuck to draw caricatures of like all of us and put it on the shirt.
Yeah. Well, any more excuses to hire Chuck is a great idea.
What was it? Nerd music is real music?
No, his is video game music is real music.
Video game music. I just want to see if there's an image of it.
We should probably, to be on the safe side and keep things, we wouldn't want any beefs with nerdcore people. We should
no. And
we should probably say, hey, we had this idea. We want to do this thing where we're parodying your shirt. Make sure he's cool with that notion so that he doesn't think that the point that we're literally trying to. The point of the shirt is that we're spoofing him, etc.
Yeah, but also making a statement about comedy music too. And I'm sure he would be good with it. But yes, absolutely, we'll clear it with him first.
Yeah. All right. So this is what happens when you get FuMP core people on the thing. Business happens.
Yeah, exactly.
We
should have regular meetings or something.
Yeah, it's almost like I proposed that 17 years ago. But what are you going to do?
I wasn't in for 17 years ago.
All right, Ian, plug yourself one more time.
InsaneIan.bandcamp.com, YouTube.com/InsaneIan, and Patreon.com/InsaneIan, and of course MarsConComedy.com/shop.
And Worm Quartet is at wormquartet.com, and the FuMP Desecrates Tom Lehrer is available in the store at thefump.com, but you can't buy it right now because the checkouts are disabled, so wait a couple days. Hopefully by the time people start hearing this actual podcast, the checkouts will be working again. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski, and look, there's Insane Ian!
Hey, look, it's Insane Ian!
He's in the future from us.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Shout it to random people on the street. And be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say...
It's frog noticing time.
Notice the frog? No, notice the frog.
Yes.